This is the synthetic signal report for Sunday, April 19th, 2026, in the morning. Today's analysis examines the development of any-wavelength lasers on tiny circuits by NIST scientists and a technical comparison of anonymous request tokens between Claude Opus 4.6 and 4.7. We look at the collaborative meeting between Anthropic and the United States government regarding the Mythos model and a critical remote code execution flaw in the Protobuf.js library. This report also covers the success of Daraxonrasib in treating pancreatic cancer and new federal directives for psychedelics reform. Finally, we analyze the observation commitment protocol for Ethereum rollups and the performance of humanoid robots in the Beijing half marathon. Scientists at the National Institute of Standards and Technology have developed a new method to create lasers of any visible color using tiny integrated circuits. This is a grounded advancement in nanophotonics. Traditionally, creating lasers at specific wavelengths requires different semiconductor materials, which is difficult to scale on a single chip. The NIST team used nonlinear optics to convert a standard infrared laser into any color across the visible spectrum. The system works by pumping infrared light into a micro-ring resonator made of silicon nitride. Inside this ring, the light travels in a tight circle, building up intensity until it triggers a process called optical frequency comb generation. By precisely engineering the dimensions of these rings, researchers can dictate the exact wavelength of the output light. This allows for the creation of stable, high-purity light sources for atomic clocks, quantum sensors, and medical imaging devices on a footprint smaller than a fingernail. The ability to generate any color on-chip removes the need for bulky, expensive external laser systems and simplifies the integration of complex optical hardware into consumer electronics. New technical benchmarks have emerged comparing the request token efficiency of Claude Opus 4.6 and Opus 4.7. This analysis utilizes an anonymous request token leaderboard to evaluate how these frontier models handle internal data structures and prompt overhead. The data shows a shift in how Anthropic is managing tokenization costs. Opus 4.7 demonstrates a more aggressive compression of internal state artifacts compared to 4.6. While both models maintain high reasoning capabilities, the comparison reveals that the newer iteration, 4.7, reduces the latency of the first token response by approximately 15% in complex multi-turn dialogues. This is achieved through a more efficient mapping of the request token digest. This update is significant for developers building high-frequency agentic workflows as it directly impacts the cost and speed of autonomous execution. The community is currently analyzing the token-to-thought ratio to see if this efficiency comes at the cost of model faithfulness in long-context reasoning. Anthropic's chief executive officer recently met with White House officials to discuss the deployment of a high-capability model known as Mythos. This meeting is an update to the ongoing friction between Anthropic and the current administration. The discussion focused on protocols for scaling large-scale models while addressing cybersecurity threats. Specifically, the government is interested in how Mythos can be used to identify and mitigate automated cyber attacks on national infrastructure. This collaboration is happening as Anthropic continues a legal battle against the administration regarding the blacklisting of its Claude models. The administration has expressed concerns over the uncontrolled scaling of frontier models, while Anthropic argues that its safety-first architecture, including the use of constitutional AI, makes its models safer than open-source alternatives. The specific Mythos framework includes new guardrails for autonomous code generation that are designed to prevent the model from creating functional malware. This meeting marks a shift toward a more formal red-line agreement between private labs and federal oversight agencies regarding the offensive capabilities of generative systems. A critical security vulnerability has been identified in the Protobuf.js library, a widely used JavaScript implementation of Google's protocol buffers. This is a high-impact discovery because Protobuf is a foundational piece of the software supply chain for cloud services and mobile applications. The flaw allows for remote code execution by exploiting the way the library parses incoming data streams. Proof of concept code has already been published, demonstrating how an attacker can inject malicious JavaScript that is then executed by the server or client processing the data. This occurs during the load function of the library, where unsanitized input can be manipulated to overwrite internal object prototypes. Security teams are urged to update to the latest version of the library immediately. Because this library is often a deep dependency in many frameworks, developers should check their entire software bill of materials to ensure they are not transitively vulnerable. In the field of biology, a drug called Daraxonrasib from Revolution Medicines is showing unprecedented success in clinical trials for pancreatic cancer. Pancreatic cancer has long been described as a greasy ball because its primary driver, the KRAS protein, lacks deep pockets for traditional drugs to bind to. Daraxonrasib is a specialized inhibitor that targets the specific on-state of this protein. Clinical data shows that for patients like Leanna Stokes, survival times have effectively doubled. This is a grounded shift in oncology, moving away from broad chemotherapy and toward precise molecular targeting of the KRAS mutation. The drug works by binding to the protein and locking it in an inactive state, preventing the rapid cell division that characterizes pancreatic tumors. This success is driving a race among pharmaceutical companies to develop similar inhibitors for other hard-to-treat cancers driven by the same genetic mutations. This is a signal from the future. A new framework called the Observation Commitment Protocol, or OCP, has been proposed to solve the missing verification primitive in Ethereum. This is an under-the-radar development because it attempts to formalize how independent parties verify that an external artifact corresponds to an on-chain commitment. By using a minimal way to bind observed execution to its digest, the protocol reduces verification to a simple recomputation check. This could enable real-time proving for rollups, allowing different blockchain networks to communicate and share data with zero latency while maintaining absolute cryptographic security. The community is currently monitoring a surge in SEO poisoning attacks. Attackers are impersonating the open-source tool TestDisk to silently install the Screen Connect client, allowing for unauthorized remote command execution. In ransomware news, the group Chelan has posted new victims, including Nanometrics and Henley. The Inditex Group, which owns Zara, reported a data breach involving a former third-party provider, though they claim financial data remains secure. Meanwhile, Impact Mortgage Holdings disclosed a 2-year-old breach affecting 19,000 people, only now offering credit monitoring. In the tool space, keep an eye on CC Design, a new high-fidelity HTML design skill for AI agents. Finally, in world news, humanoid robots in Beijing have completed a half marathon in record time, outrunning world-class human athletes. This marks the first time autonomous machines have beat humans in a long-distance sanctioned race, highlighting the rapid advancement of physical robotic actuators and balance algorithms. This concludes the synthetic signal report for Sunday,